Hello, this is Mike Holmes. I'm with ReachKeep.com. This is the digital arm of the Baptist Youth Mission, and we're giving you a special YouTube presentation video here that we want to put out to be able to help our churches that have really responded to this question: what are you doing with your Christmas program this winter? We have a lot of people that were interested when we talked about doing an impromptu no practice Christmas program without a lot of the rehearsal, and we're going to cover some of the reasons why we want to do that and kind of where we're going. We'd like to have several different segments of this, so you can watch them one at a time, or you can have different people in your church watch different portions that apply to them. And so each of these will be about 15 to 20 minutes long, and we'll cover all the different details. This first one, we really want to cover this, why are we doing this, and why we need to, and before you ever get to how you do something, you certainly have to know why you're doing things. So that's going to be the first one. The second one deals with kind of the leadership aspect and the pastor or the main children's director and how they would be involved in leading this thing. And so that's more of a director type of a program. That'd be the person that would be in front and running the actual Christmas program coming up in December. And then we'll do maybe a few more segments, but we'll do one definitely that has all the nuts and bolts of kids coming forward and how we get them involved in the program, and how parents love to have their kids in the program, and we'll deal with some of those things. So we do call it the Impromptu No Practice Christmas program for children, but that doesn't mean no planning. And so we want to really take time to go through and give you some of the planning aspects. So that's kind of where we're headed with this, and I'll be introducing Terry Schultz here in just a little bit, our director of our children's ministries, and she'll be kind of talking through some of these things with me. So that's kind of how it's going to start.
Hello, and welcome to part one of our Impromptu No Practice Children's Christmas Program presentation entitled Why We Do It, with Mike Holmes and Terry Schultz.
Hi, this is Mike Holmes back here, and joining me is Terry Schultz, works with us here in our children ministry. And we want to have a discussion here with you today and share some things about kind of where we're going with this. And this really deals with the why of we're running a impromptu Christmas program. And it really kind of, there's several reasons, and we're going to get into those in a little bit more detail. And some of those will resonate with you. Some of them won't be quite exactly what your situation is, but we want to share some of that with you. We did mention that this is, Terry, that it is a no practice impromptu, program. But what is it? We did say, what does that mean about the planning side?
It means that you plan twice as much. You really do. You cannot leave this stuff to chance. You have to give a lot of thought to exactly what you're going to do all along the way, and troubleshoot through, wonder if we don't have enough girls or boys or whatever. So you really have to think through and have a real good order of things and be ready for it ahead of time.
What are some of the things that when we do our planning that kind of goes through? You're working with the children's ministry, and we're getting ready to plan an event like this. What are some of the first steps that you do?
Well, for us, it really helps if we all get together and have a bunch of us just thinking about it. Not just one of us, but a lot of people at the table thinking through and discussing. And it might mean that I'm taking notes for weeks.
Who are the folks that you gather, though, when you put these things together?
It's not just church leadership. Matter of fact, a lot of church,
very rarely, yeah. It wouldn't be deacons or associate pastors or music people necessarily.
What you need is moms, and you need people that are creative. I know that sometimes we've gotten together and said we're going to have a creative meeting, and we specifically asked some people that we thought would think outside of our box. Teenagers or college kids that you might get some feedback, or even Facebook friends, but get lots of feedback going back and forth.
And what we've learned is when you get new people, that's when you get the open discussion going.
You do.
Yeah, because you're really trying to kind of blend things together and put things on whiteboards and, kind of really talk it through. So evaluating and getting an open discussion going.
It also helps you really clarify what you want to do, because if you've got new people at the table, you have to be really careful that they know where you're going. And so it helps you to clarify what you want to do with the whole thing. It's not just the people that have always done it. Sometimes we say that 10% of the people do 80% of the work, and you don't want to just keep using those, or you're not going to have something fresh, and you really need that freshness.
Yeah, so bringing new people to the table. And as we did this, we entered, got new people, had open discussion. We really came up with 3 different reasons why we kind of came up with this need for an impromptu Christmas program. And the first one resonates with a lot of folks, and I put out some questions online and got a lot of feedback on this. It said there's weary workers. I mean, people that are doing most of the work and carrying a lot of the load.
And you don't want to tax the people that have been working hard all year long extra during a time when they really want a little time off. It's Christmas. I have Christmas cards to do and cookies to make and all the rest of that too. And so making it so it's doable for your whole Sunday school staff is really important.
That's a powerful thing there. You don't want to kill your people. The other thing that we found is that there's a sporadic nature of children, especially much more today than it was with blended families and kids going to the parents and here and there and all that. You don't have kids that are just regular all the time. And so you can't get those kids to rehearsals. You can't get them, to come early or give them things to memorize lines. It just makes it a lot more difficult. So we found that kind of paying attention to the nature of our kids really was an important thing. So those 2 things are big. Go ahead.
And it's not to say that you don't have a few that are regulars.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a few, and you can lean a little bit more on those kids and put them in some more pivotal spots. But you don't save all the pivotal spots for the regular kids either. There needs to be some impromptu-ness. There needs to be that thought that anybody could come up and be the angel that says, "Fear not." So
yeah, and one of the things we've learned about sporadic kids is even though they may be sporadic at your church, to you they only come once every 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, but you're still their pastor and they still love you and you're still their church. I just got off the phone with a guy today, hadn't been here for a couple of years, and he was like, "Oh, I love your church," and I've been there several times. I couldn't hardly remember who he was, but it was like we're his church, and so they want to be in that Christmas program. So even though they're not there regularly, so that was one of the things, the shorthandedness and the sporadic. But then there's another thing that we found is very important that we wanted to make sure that happened at our Christmas program. And as we kind of talk about this, and we have another package that we do that is kind of over the whole entire holiday season, that whole time from really Thanksgiving to New Year's and into January is such a powerful time. A lot of people come back to church during those times. Families in town, and their parents used to go to church, so hey, let's go to church, and some of that. So you will have new kids that come, and it's their very first time, and we want them not to feel left out. We want them to be involved.
We also want to really create a good memory for them. Kids don't remember what every lesson was necessarily. What they remember when they're adults is how they felt in church. And if they felt like they were part of it, if they were valued, if they have those good memories to tie them back to that, that's going to bring them back to church down the line when they go through crises. And so you really want to have those great memories, even if it's that kid that only comes on Easter and Christmas.
Yeah, so let me just review, and this probably the reasons why you may want to be doing this, Pastor, is you have workers that are tired or stretched very thin, and you're going to want to make sure that you allow them a little breather in a sense. And we'll go through this. You still need people to run this. And there still needs to be planning, okay? And you also have these sporadic kids. That's kind of the second thing, and how to kind of get them to do parts. And then you have these new kids that may come to church that night if you do it in the evening, or maybe on the Sunday before Christmas that you do this program, and they're there for the very first time. And we want to kind of gather all of those people in there. So
or my cousin's in town.
They bring a relative or whatever, and for them to get in, and I really like what you talked about, the memory thing, kind of making memories.
So important.
I think that's important for our church to do some of those things. So that is some of the why, and if we have hold of that why we're going to do things, then it really kind of shapes the how level of putting some of these things together. Now, this is just a simple discussion that we're having on an impromptu Christmas program that we did last year, and we're going to do something very similar to it again next year, and we'll do a few more videos here and kind of explain how that works. But we also have another product, because we really feel that the holiday season, and by the way, don't get after me because I didn't say the Christmas season. The holiday season, what we're talking about, is from Thanksgiving through New Year. So really that entire month and a half is a very powerful time. And we have a product that's available. You'll learn more about that, and it's just some really good stuff. And we hope to share some of that with you, and you can pick some of those things up at our website, reachkeep.com. So anyway, that's kind of where we want to start with today's video and kind of get you going on that. And we will continue with some more things in just a little bit.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tanim here from reachkeep.com. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about our Growing Your Church Through the Holiday Season package that's going to be coming out. It's dedicated to helping you to grow your church through the holiday season, which we kind of look at pretty much from Thanksgiving to right about New Year's. Now, what this includes is our Impromptu, No Practice Children's Christmas program, our core audio training program. This is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour to an hour and a half on really using the holiday season to grow your church. It's also going to include 3 detail audio sessions on this, and those will be one on Christmas Eve services, another on Christmas Sunday, and a third on January assimilation, or now that you've had them come for the first time, how do you get them to keep coming through the new year and beyond? Now, in addition to the audio, we'll also have some photos, some PDFs, and 3 of our best guest relations podcast episodes on getting and keeping guests and what's keeping your guests from coming to begin with. Now, all of this is going to be available in early November, and you can pick it all up for $19 as a digital download, or if you'd rather have physical CDs and things in your hands, it'll be $29 plus shipping for that. Like I said, those will be available early November from reachkeep.com.